All the edifice which you see at Manize was built by young Zimbabweans. The Chinese only came to be technicians to supervise. For every one Chinese, there was 10 Zimbabweans attached. They are the ones who built that structure. It came as raw steel from China and a little bit from South Africa. Zvakangarangandwa nevana vedu kumanize vedu vemuZimbabwe ndo vakavaka chinhu chiya. Even if you drive today from Zimbabwe and from Harare to Kwekwe, when you see that power line coming from Cebu, Sherwood to Manize, 100 kilometers, you can now imagine how Zimbabwe is poised to become part of the African free trade area with the most important product of human development still being one of its commodities to sell. Africa needs power. It has got a lot of hydroelectric potential. It has got coal. It has solar. It needs transmission. I doubt if we get into the business of producing power pylons that anybody can beat Zimbabwe. And because the example is that line. And power lines will be needed all over Africa. I'm trying to make you understand that when the ZANU PF Congress conference in Bulawayo says Mnangagwa Emboramba Muchitonga, they are assessing the performance of a doer, an intelligent man who always finds innovative solutions based on the creative genius of the Zimbabwe people and delivers those solutions for Zimbabwe people to free themselves from poverty and become part of the human progress. This is why there is a clamor by ZANU PF, the organs, all of them in the party, as well as the provinces, to say, President Wongu Constitution in 2028, Wongu, imi munoti ndiri makanyora Constitution, we want to end up in 2028. But there was a provision in the Constitution that if the membership can convince the electorate in 2028, kuti President ngavaenderere mberi, we will be presenting you with the decision of the electorate to say, Muramba here kuramba muchitonga yo electorate and iti mutonga. It's not about the president demanding that he extends his term in 2028. No. That's why he says a constitution. He says, it's not my job, I'm done. And he repeats it all the time. But it doesn't take away the prerogative of the electorate under the provision of the Constitution to say that we want more of you because you have been doing wonders in terms of the development of Zimbabwe. You understand? He is a passive player, I repeat. He is not the one who demands a third term. The Constitution does not allow it. But the Constitution allows the electorate organized by a party like ZANU PF, which is enthusiastic about its leader, to revisit and give him and award him a third term. The onus is on the people through a referendum. It has nothing to do with the wishes of the president, who is fully compliant with the Constitution as it stands. And there's no quarrel with the current Constitution. He wrote it. He has done well all these things I'm talking about, progress in the mining sector, the use of Pumvudza and all these. He has done well to merit that kind of accolade from the population. But it's not for him to demand a third term. So we begin also to answer those who clamor for succession in ZANU PF. Tichangobva kuma elections in 2023, where he won resoundingly. Can you imagine a boardroom where somebody has been appointed CEO by the board, and then immediately is told that your successor is this one? She says, I'm ready too. Is it possible to run a company along those lines, where a CEO has been immediately seconded with a successor? It means you have created two centers of power in the company. And inevitably there will be contestation and allegiances by company workers listening to conflicting directives from two people. One who says, don't talk like that about what you want to do because it may not be what I want when I become CEO. And this one is saying that I've been appointed CEO, I'm there to run the Kamansaka, you must follow what I want. This is the scenario which ZANU PF is refusing by those who are trying to clamor for succession soon after an election. They want to turn a performing president into a lame duck because they are scared that he will perform and deliver even more. They want to hobble the president from delivering more by encumbering him with cobwebs of a successor who is beginning to have a mark sheet about the way it is performance. The party follows its tradition of achievement and success. They see danger in any arrangement where somebody is anointed a priori before the time, and the party is refusing. And it behoves on all those cadres who are genuine revolutionaries, or who are part of the genuine revolutionary tradition of ZANU PF, to comply with the resolutions which were passed at the party congress in Bulawayo in October. The party is united. The Politburo is working for the things which I have talked to you about, and it is delivering the prosperity which the people of Zimbabwe do want. And we had another diplomatic coup in 2024. For years, the West, which feels that it has got a writ, a post-colonial writ over African institutions, they had said Zimbabwe to know Iburitsa Musadak. You remember we're being trundled into the Sadak tribunal court. Tichitongwa nedare risusu mambo akutongwa nedare raakaronga iye rare rake raakutonga mambo. We pulled out of Sadak because it was being abused. But there is a turn of events. 2024, Zimbabwe is chairman of Sadak. The regional group has come of age. It has fended off international interference into its affairs. So this is a big achievement. Mese Murima chairman, a president. Vakanditaura kuti pandoita press conference vega vega taurira mareporters kuti mese Murima chairman eSADC was ndewavo. Chavainacho ndechenyu. This is a singular achievement by Zimbabwe, kuita chairman in face of concerted resistance by the West, who did not want our president to become chairman. Vakamuvhira achiri muhondo vachimuvhima vakamutadza, vakamuenda mujeri vakamuvhima vakamutadza, vakamuvhima comrade zvakare kuMozambique vakamutadza, vakamuti haafaniri kutonga muZimbabwe vakatadza. 2017 akazopedzisira pachigara ipapo zvakanzi apagare pachigara ipapo tinotomubvisa chete Mnangagwa. Nhasi vakatikangara varipo pachigaro ipapo. Rambai muripo chef. Zimbabwe inokudai, vanhu veZANU PF vanokudai, rambai muri pachigaro chenyu. So the SADC chairman is one of the other milestones which we marked this year. And the party, of course, you saw the organization, the unit of the party at the party conference. It's a big success. Tarisai on the political landscape. Watch the political landscape. Look for any activity with all those other parties. Not of what you are blind. You can't see any activity. Cannot you have been blinded by the light? No, you have not been blinded by the light. They have simply ceased to exist in an organizational format. You hear occasional statements from them as individuals, as solo players. You know, music is best done when it is an orchestra. Yes, there may be individual talented musicians playing one instrument, but it's very difficult to achieve my hits, my popular songs. Anobuda pa hit parade with one person playing the instrument. It's better it is a group or an orchestra. Kwedu, the orchestra is churning out lucid tunes about where Zimbabwe should go. There's deafening silence from the opposition. So the milestone is basically that ZANU PF reigns supreme on the political stage. And it is reigning supreme because of the absence of any contestation. And remember, we like democracy. They are legitimately allowed to organize. Kukoniwa kwao haisi mhosva yeZANU PF. And harisi basa redu kuti vaende kundodzidzisa kuti vangaite sei politics. We are not in the business of propping up our opposition. Even if we have got all the competencies within our party, we can't create or sustain our opposition. So the unit of the party from grassroots, musangano kumasero uriko, ma organs ese ariko, izozvi they are busy working to implement the slogan 2030 on the ground. Kuzasuku, my party chairman, my party structures, ari kutenderera nyika yese achitaura kuti takata Mnangagwa 2030 ndo resolution yeyu. This is, and they are also along the way working to convince the electorate, because they have to convince the. It doesn't come from ZANU PF, the decision year 2030 kuiti president vazodzoka. It has to come from the electorate ku referendum. So we are busy working with the people on the ground to make sure that this is a party which is united, which is cohesive. So 2024 ZANU PF comes solid in the work of discharging its mission for the Zimbabwe people, for the Zimbabwe revolution. And of course, our diplomacy, I told you about SADC, our relations with all our neighbors are very good. South Africa, they went through an election. We are happy with the outcome. Our relations in South Africa are very solid. We are even now looking at cooperation in the steel sector, because our steel sector is more advanced than theirs. I was told on good record by somebody who comes from a steel producing country, which is the best in the world, and from the foremost cradle of German steel industry in Dortmund. He's an old comrade from the war, a German guy who is also a friend of the president. So he still comes back, but he still comes back. He's old now, retired. He visited Masnise steel plant. So you can see nothing in Europe compares to what Zimbabwe has done in Pamanise. There was the horizontal integration of the steel plant and the vertical integration of the steel plant. And absolutely no emissions. The steam and the smoke is captured to produce a 70 megawatt power station in place. And the water is recycled before it is gone back to the Munyati River. He says there's nothing like this in Europe in terms of kugona kwa Mnangagwa ikoko kutora technology kutsvaga invest mupamandiriri kuisa steel plant yekuti even vari kuEurope they come and bow in consternation kuti vakomana zvaitwa neZimbabwe here izvi kugona ikoko. And along the way, of course, our steel is cheaper because the iron ore is nearby, the coking coal is nearby, the chrome is nearby. Those are the alloys which make steel. So there is, in South Africa, an excitement by the South African steel sector, those who are in the downstream industry. Kuti akunotora steel yemandirire pamusoro, ours is virgin high quality steel, which they may not be getting at home. And the prices at home are higher than ours. So, taimbozvitaura kuti Zimbabwe ichadzoka. Hapana chinhu chinodzosesa nyika steel. And because South Africa yaona kuti Zimbabwe ine steel, we are working closely together to make sure that we also become, as a region, a steel player. And we are hoping that the elections in Mozambique get resolved. The date is getting close now. That the winner will be finally declared, and that if there are disgruntlements anywhere, the Mozambican political system will accommodate and resolve. And we are very happy that 3-4 days ago, President President Lorenzo from Angola was in South Africa, and he called upon South Africa as a regional power, as our regional power. Tinayo Monyaredu mu region, Mbinga yedu tinayo, South Africa. They called upon President Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of Angola, to say, use your influence to stop the charade of political violence, which is threatening the constitutional order in Mozambique. And what is interesting in President Lourenço's statement is that he had just come from a meeting with President Biden, the outgoing president of the United States. So we can only read between the lines of diplomacy that the call by President Lourenço also has the support of the big power, which is America. Because they tend, it's not net America, they are the elephant in the room. If they shake their body in a certain manner, you get bruised, along the way. So I hope that this proposition by Angola to have South Africa help us resolve the situation in Mozambique pulls through. We are landlocked. We are all dependent on the ports of Beira. So this is yet another aspect of his diplomacy, where he is being called in all sorts of conferences, our president, by respected peers from across the globe. And his star keeps rising. President Mnangagwa is a good statesman, he's a rare caliber statesman. He knows what he's doing. And Zimbabwe is now under the control, under the helmsman of a leader who is visionary, who is intellectually well ahead of his peers, who is unequaled at present on the national stage. So ZANU PF is right with Ngawarembaripo. There's a slogan, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. On that good note, Mnangagwa warukugona, there's nothing to fix. And he has had a bumper year of achievements, and we are happy with that. Through him, on his behalf, we convey a happy coming Christmas to you, the best of the New Year holidays, and come 2025, more of the development dividend, which our president has become legendary associated with. And we call upon the Zimbabwe people to unite behind him to make sure that we continue to notch up deliveries in our economy. We must poise our country to become a player in the Africa Free Trade area. And with steel as one of our main products, we are assured of a prominent role in the African Free Trade area. And that befits going back to the future of a country which ruled an empire from the Atlantic to the Indian Ocean at its heyday with the Wanamatapas. I thank you.